They dragged her into the chamber, not as a queen, not as a ruler, but as a trophy. The crowd outside whispered. Soldiers grinned. The most powerful woman in Byzantium was about to be broken in the most humiliating way possible. Empress Irene had once ruled with iron resolve. She blinded her own son to keep the throne. She faced down plots and rebellions. Yet when her enemies captured her, they did not simply strip her of power. They stripped her of humanity. Byzantium was an empire obsessed with spectacle. Punishment had to be seen, felt, remembered. For Irene, her fate would not be exile or death alone. It would be degradation, her body turned into a weapon against her memory. The whispers spread across Constantinople. Soldiers said she would be paraded. Courtiers hinted at a violation staged not in shadows, but in full view of those who once bowed before her. A queen's rape as a message. No one was untouchable. Irene was brought forward, wrists bound, her jeweled robes torn from her shoulders. Her eyes, once cold with authority, stared blankly ahead. Around her, men jeered, their voices rising like a tide of cruelty. The spectacle was about to begin. They forced her down, the empress who had sat on the throne of Constantine. The sound of tearing silk filled the chamber. Hands pressed her to the ground. What followed was not silence. It was the roar of men reveling in her collapse. Every moment was designed to desecrate, to erase her majesty. She was not killed instantly. She was left alive to endure, to be remembered in shame. Powerless, defiled. The empress who blinded her son was now blinded by her own suffering. The court chroniclers later wrote of Irene's downfall with glee. They emphasized the humiliation, how the empire rejoiced at her degradation. To them, this was justice, the punishment of a woman who dared to rule as a man. But outside the palaces, whispers carried another meaning. Mothers, daughters, and widows looked on with horror. For if an empress could be broken so brutally, what hope did any woman have beneath the weight of empire? When the violation ended, Irene was cast aside. She was exiled to a remote island, left to wither away in silence. No throne, no allies, no dignity. Her punishment did not end with her body. It lived in her legacy. Generations remembered her not for her brilliance or cruelty, but for her disgrace. Her rape became the empire's cautionary tale. Resist the men who control power, and you will be crushed in body and spirit. And yet, there is a darker truth. Irene was not alone. History is filled with queens, empresses, and noble women humiliated to prove a point, their bodies used to remind men that power must never pass to women. So we must ask, was Irene's punishment justice, or was it fear? Fear of a woman who refused to bend. Fear of a ruler who dared to claim the crown. Fear that even in her brokenness, her shadow might haunt them. This is the forgotten fate of Empress Irene, the queen raped to humiliate an empire. What do you think? Does her story reveal justice, or does it expose cruelty disguised as order? Share your thoughts below and join me for the next brutal tale.